Hey guys, on today's episode we're going to be building a new semi-arid enclosure for our Brachypelma Emilia. I'm not going to open it up because she's going to kick hairs at me because she's a grumpy girl. We're just going to set her off to the side for now. This is the large tarantula cribs terrestrial that we're working with today. This is not a sponsored video. So we have a couple of Brachypelma. I really like this plant. I enjoy it looks like a bush to me. And it's got very fine roots. So it comes out of the pot extremely easily. Just gonna break up the root ball a little bit. Going to plant drop it in there for now. And I've got our arid mixed soil down below me here. This stuff is a mixture of cocoa fiber, sand, I'm going to end up removing this again. Cocoa fiber, sand, organic black earth, and a small gravel. The cocoa fiber gives it a good base to dry out readily and makes it a lot easier to work with. As you can see, it's very loose and loamy. Perfect if they want to decide to make a little burrow, things like that. It does have some of our strength out clay mixed into it as well, so that if they want to make a burrow, it will hold quite well. So we're gonna make a good layer. Kind of spread it out a bit, because I have this envision in my head that I want to put. I hate using cork bark in arid enclosures. Just doesn't look natural to me. So we're going to take it, we're going to move all of our substrate around, we're going to put it in here, something like this, and I'm going to bury it. Because I don't like the look of it, as I just mentioned. I'm going to cover it in as much of this substrate as possible, and then we're going to use our Brachypelma to sort of help us bury it a bit more. As this plant grows, it should provide more cover, almost like a shrubbery that you would find in like a grasslandy area naturally in Mexico, where these guys are from. I've never been there, not gonna lie. I'm just assuming, I'm going off images. Because Google is my best friend when it comes to these things. I have a second one, which is going to make this tank very full. But that's sort of the look that I'm going for. I'm going for a very full, almost set up a burrow at the base of a shrub look in the middle of the savanna at the outback, I guess you could call it, even though that's generally referred to as an Australian term. This one might be a little bit big. I have to play with some more soil here, dig it out a fair bit more. I'm gonna wedge it down and cover most of that burrow. Which, you're probably thinking, why do we want to cover our burrow? Don't we want to see our spider? The more opportunity your animal has to feel secure, the more probability, that it's going to actually be out in the open, because it's not afraid, because it doesn't have any worries that a bird's going to fly down and eat it. Well, you're probably thinking to yourself, what kind of bird is going to get inside my tank and eat my spider? None. But that doesn't mean that natural instincts aren't there. You still get scared of horror movies, and you know that's make-believe. Just like our animals. Animals are still scared just out of sheer instinct when it comes to some things like that. So this is a very busy enclosure now. Thankfully it has a lot of space inside that burrow. It can get up and around this piece of cork. I'm just going to keep pressing this soil down compact it, with trying not to kill our Crucilia as much as possible. And I kind of like how it looks. Well, from what I can see, I like how it looks. Can't see much because I'm working from behind the tank. But I have something else I wanted to try in this enclosure. This is the product called Nano Leaf. I don't actually know what kind of leaves it is, but I really like it. I used it in a lot of tanks. I'm gonna mix that with some of our springtail clay, which I already had set aside, alongside a few other botanicals like these Kumbach leaves from Jurassic Reptiles. I'm gonna cut the top open here, I'm gonna pull one or two out, and I'm gonna squish them, just for a different texture and different color to the kind of floor, the aesthetic that we're going for. Rip them up, add them to our bioactive topper, I guess we'll call it. Mix. Keep a couple whole ones just because I'm going to add them on top after. I have this weird stuff that looks like potpourri. Probably been seen in your grandma's bathroom, above the toilet, things like that, because that's where it belongs. But apparently we're going to use it in this bioactive set because I have it and I want to give it a shot. I'm going to take 2 cups, invert them because I wasn't smart enough to bring a 32-ounce cup, and shake it. And now I have clay all over me, and it's messy. Now we're going to take this. I'm covered in clay. And we're going to shake it in here. Give it kind of a generous, pull the plants apart, toss them in there, pull plants forward, toss them back there. Just something a little bit different. So for a look, I'm gonna grab these last. I'm gonna remove most of the potpourri. I don't like it. It belongs in your grandma's bathroom, not in a tank. Add those 2 leaves that I did leave whole from the Kumbach. And last thing I'm going to do is I have our spray bottle here. I'm going to give everything a good spray, because what that'll do is that clay was dry, and now it's going to rehydrate and add a reddish hue to the surface of our substrate and everywhere else that we've kind of now dusted it amongst the setup, which again, can't really see what I'm doing, so we're hoping that it's not too wet. I think that should be good. Hopefully it's good. And then we're just going to wipe down our glass. And we'll give this about overnight probably. We're going to introduce our spider. Just let things kind of settle in and dry out a bit before. Throwing them in right away can just be problematic for not only your setup, but your spider as well, because that is a lot of moisture that we just put in there. We don't want any respiratory infections, or if there is an outbreak from mold from the bioactive or the botanics, things like that, which does commonly happen. You don't want your spider breathing all that in. So, we will check back in tomorrow. Thanks, guys.